Hi traders, and welcome to the Technical Analysis Market Wrap on Friday the 30th of October. So I've certainly seen some good moves this week. We've had some really big moves on some of the majors and even on the indices. So we'll jump straight in and see if we can identify any opportunities for today. So we'll start out here on the Aussie USD. On the daily chart, you can see that the line we've drawn many weeks ago now has been in play again. You can see it's gravitated down to the 70-cent mark, which we were hoping it would. And that's given us some really good opportunities to short it from those moving averages. You can see it's caught in between a really tight zone here. It's been here for a few weeks now, in between the two moving averages, which is the 20 and the 50, and also that really important 70-cent zone. So it's given us some really good opportunities to short this one this week. It was at resistance pretty much early on in the week and has done nothing but short since, and had obviously a very logical target to go to. So what we need to do now is we go down to the smaller time frames and we'll look for potential reversals from this point. We know this level is going to be pretty strong, so it's going to take a little bit of breaking. But in order to go long from here, we want to see at least a change of trend on probably a 1 hour chart. So as you can see, we're still in a downtrend at the moment, but we want to see a series of higher highs and higher lows on the 1 hour, and that would convince us that potentially we could go back into the previous highs here around that sort of 71.50 area. But in the first instance, again, until the election's well and truly over, which is next week now, it's fast approaching, we want to see only sort of 50 pip moves, and we're happy to take those. So we're only scalping up until next Tuesday and Wednesday. So in the first instance, probably the 70-80 here level would be the first point of call. You can see that's a pretty good little roll reversal. It's going to find some sort of resistance there, and that would be a pretty good move. That would be around 50 pips. If we get a bit of a pullback here, and then we can move it up, we can have a go at that, and then failing that, the 200, that'll get us up to around the 71 cents. So that's what we're really aiming for here, just short and sharp scalps. But we want to see a bit of a reversal of price trend here. At the moment, it's still in a downtrend. We want to see price reversal before we take this zone and try and long it from this area. So the next one we'll have a look at is the USDCAD. Now this one's been a great trade. We've been talking about this one for a little bit now, but you can see the double bottom that was setting up on the daily chart here has pretty much played out. What we'll do, we'll draw it up just for those of you who don't really know what we're looking at here. The neckline I'm referring to is, I'll draw the horizontal line right through that area there. And to find out where the take profit for that is, we measure from the bottom of the troughs and we measure that distance there. Okay, and we project that out. So this one here is not really playing the game at the moment, so we'll get that out. I don't know why it's not doing that. There we go. It's a little bit longer than that, but as you can see, that has pretty much played out now. So that distance there, which is around the 133.80 area. So straight into the previous resistance here. So no surprises to see that being the target. Really good trade. So hopefully people got hold of that one because it was a pretty lucrative trade once it did set up. So, where to from here on the CAD? Well, it's going to depend on the US dollar strength, of course, but you could see it's going to take a bit of a move to really break past this level. This has been a strong level in the past, so I'd imagine we're probably going to find a little bit of resistance here. You can see it's already kicked back a little bit, well down into the low 33s again, so after it hit that target. So it's probably going to float around between these zones. Again, I don't think we're going to do any big outstanding moves. I mean, that's a pretty big move, for the time that we're talking about anyway, so I would be, again, inclined to be scalping this one, looking at maybe testing these highs again. You need to be going down to the smaller time frames now and looking for the series of higher highs and higher lows, or if we're going to short it down a little bit more, the lower highs and lower lows. You can see the 15-minute has already broken lower, which indicates that potentially we could see a little bit more weakness, and if that's going to happen, more than likely the 132.34 area that we had drawn over at this level here, which is a neckline of that double bottom, might be the target if it starts to weaken a little bit. But as you can see, it's come back down. It's found this mini support level here, which was resistance, a little mini roll reversal. So more than likely, you want to see a little bit more price action. I'd want to see it test these moving averages again and probably break this level on at least a 15-minute chart before I'd get involved in a short on this one. So we're really waiting price action to dictate where this one's going to go. But once it does, we've got two pretty logical targets to go to. So we've got a long and a short that we can play on this one, the previous resistance and, of course, the previous support. All right, we'll move on to the dollar index. It's probably been the a bit of the star of the show, really, this one and the Euro USD. But this one's gone straight into the levels that we've been talking about for so long now. It finally got there. You can see that it hit the 93.80 pretty easily. It went all the way up to actually 94.07 and 08, really, which is a really nice move. But the 93.80 was what we were targeting. It got there. It's hovering just above there now. But you can see that this is a really, really strong resistance point for it. You can see how many touches. This is a daily chart, so it's a pretty serious level. You can see it had trouble breaking through here, right through here, at these two levels here as well. So it's definitely a strong level for it now. Whether it actually keeps going on with the job, if it does, you'd expect that it would be testing these highs here at around that sort of 94.80 level, or not just below the 94.80. But I'd be more inclined to see it probably reverse back and maybe touch the tops of these levels again here. So maybe push back down to the 93.50 or even lower down to the 20. Again, this is a scalping opportunity, so I'd be looking for the scalps on this one, the short and sharps. They've served us well, very, very well over the last few weeks. So I would be continuing to do that through today and early into next week. All right, we'll jump into the euro straight up. This is obviously the inverse of what the dollar index has been doing. You can see it's basically broken through that 117, that key 117 area. It's trying to pull back up to it now. It's sitting at around that sort of 116, where is it? 70 at the moment. So it certainly gave it a decent crack. The logical area for it to test would be the previous low here of 116, around 116.20. But yeah, we've got to go to a smaller time frame to really identify opportunities on this one. Now, this is an interesting one because it was consolidating right through here. And, we did want to see a break of this level and a series of lower highs and lower lows before we actually traded the short again, because we'd already captured the short earlier in the week. We never actually got an opportunity to trade this one until it actually came down and touched the 117, because then it went back up, touched the 20 moving average, which is what we're looking for, and then that gave us the opportunity. So we were able to short it from around the 117 17 area once it rejected off the 20 moving average, and that gave us a nice little move down, which is around about 40 to 45 pips, pretty good. So if you missed the initial break, which wouldn't have been easy to catch really unless you were right there, because it did fall fairly quickly. The next real opportunity to get in was when it actually came up and touched the 20 moving average. So a really nice trade. Now, it's probably going to find a little bit of support around this area. Like I said, when you go down to the smaller time frames, you can see that this is the area that it was probably targeting, but it didn't quite reach the lows that it did back in September. But it may find, like the 17 is a very, very strong level for it. So just because it did get down this low, it's not necessarily going to go all that way again. I would be looking for a series of higher highs and higher lows from this point on, and probably get up and test the 117 again before it shorts again. It's had a pretty good short. Generally, when you're shorting big moves like this, the moves generally replicate. They move in waves, and you can see here, I'll draw that up for you and tell you what I mean. That's the first wave. Okay, the second wave is almost the same length, as you can see. So I would be expecting some sort of a pullback from here. And if it does actually pull back to the 117 level, which is what we want, you would expect it to be shorting again, and it would be coming down into this zone. Okay, so I wouldn't expect it in the first instance without at least testing 117 before it comes back down here. So the ideal trade would be to wait for the long, come up to the 117, and then look for shorting opportunities at that roll reversal, and then try and short it into these lows here, the September lows, around that 116.20. So still a pretty good move for a scalp. That's a 70 or 80 pip scalp. It'll probably be closer to 70 by the time you get the change of trend that we're looking for. But it's definitely there, and a really good opportunity. So this has served us really well, this one, over the last couple of weeks as well. So we'll jump into the S&P 500. This is the one that we've been looking at every single week. This is the very big important roll reversal zone that we've highlighted several weeks ago. You can see it came back down and tested it. It's played out pretty much exactly how we wanted it to. It shorted down to this level, which is great. It's been short all week, really. You can see that we've had some pretty negative candles all week, really. This is a bit of a positive return today. It started out weak and pushed down, but now it's recovered a little bit throughout the New York trading session. This is, it's probably done more than we would have expected, given that we're going into the election on Tuesday. it's one of the biggest market events, every 4 years. So it's certainly not to be taken lightly. It doesn't surprise me that this is hovering in this zone. It's actually provided some really good trading opportunities. When you go to the smaller time frames, you can see the series of lower highs and lower lows that we've had all week. We've been able to play this one all week and get involved in all of the shorts. You had many opportunities to do it all the way to the level that we were talking about. Okay, so really important zone. It's provided us some good trading, but we would probably expect that it'll bounce off this level here. So what we're looking for now is a series of higher highs and higher lows, and maybe we'll start to long it back to the 200 on the 1 hour there. But more importantly, probably on the daily, the 20 and the 50 are probably the logical targets. It's probably going to find itself caught up in the next trading session in between the important zone of 3250 and the moving averages, the 20 and the 50. It's probably going to hover in this zone. So go to the smaller time frames, look for the higher highs and higher lows, or lower high and lower lows, depending on which time frame you're looking at, and just take those scalping opportunities until we get some really good clarity as to who is going to win this election, which we're all waiting for. So I hope everybody's had a great week's trading. We've had awesome opportunities across the board in the majors and some of the cross pairs. So hopefully you're able to catch some of those and get some good pips out of it. I look forward to next week. We're going to really see some fireworks. By next Friday's wrap, we're going to have an election result and we'll really see what the market's made of. So have a great weekend, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all next week.